Okay, so GADSAT has this video here about the European Court of Human Rights. Do not insult the noble religion. So basically this is about the decision that has come down from a European court saying that it is okay to be punished for insulting Islam. And GADSAT says something here. Shortly around the 10:30, we'll just let this play and I'll sort of stop when he gets there.
Allowed to say something that is wrong, or you're not allowed to say it if it's wrong and it hurts someone's feelings.
Okay, you should be, I'm going to get to this later when he gets it. You should be allowed to say anything you want. I am a big believer in free speech, and I am probably about as close to a free speech, to a full-on free speech proponent as there is. I think that you should be allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater, and I think then that people around you should have to take it upon themselves to look around and say, is there in fact a fire? Do I smell smoke? Do I hear the crackling of flames? Oh, I do. You know what? Thanks for alerting me. I think I will exit the theater. Or I can sit there and I can say, you know what? I don't see any flames licking at the roof or the doors. I'm going to sit here and continue enjoying the movie. Or I'm going to go out and I'm going to get an usher and say, hey, is there a fire? Do I need to leave? Oh, there's not? Okay, well, there's this a-hole in there who just yelled fire, so I had to come out here and watch this. And then the theater can go in and remove that person, and they can basically ban him from the theater or take whatever action they want, okay? Or just tell him to shut up. But ultimately, I think you should be able to say whatever you want. And especially when it comes to religious groups, no religion, no ideology should ever be above,
what about if you say something
above criticism or above questioning
that is factually true and it hurts religious feelings? Geert Wilders, the Dutch parliamentarian, was summoned to court on a few occasions because he hurt the sensibilities of the noble ones. And in one of the cases, if I remember correctly, the magistrate said, it doesn't matter if what you say is true or not. If you say something that is true, but that causes, if you'd like, mischief, which, by the way, in Arabic, fitna, then it's not right. You're not allowed to do that. So it is literally...
That is ridiculous. If something is true, it should always be able to be said, no matter what it is. If it hurts people's feelings, if it's something that's politically incorrect, if it's something that is incredibly sensitive, or... if, for example, you say, oh, everybody born in the year 1975 has a lower IQ than anybody else. Whether it's right or wrong, let's pretend that that's right. But everybody then in 1975 feels bad. Okay? You should be allowed to say that. And then people can just go, yeah, but you know what? IQ isn't everything. Because if somebody has a really high IQ, but they never actually work at anything, or they don't read books, or they don't pay attention to stuff, and they don't work hard and try to improve themselves, that IQ, that higher IQ is going to be useless. Whereas somebody with a lower IQ, who really applies themselves, and they study hard, and they work hard, and they practice at things, they're going to end up being more successful and having more skills than that person with the higher IQ. So the statement itself of a fact that is an inconvenient fact does not mean that that fact is all-encompassing. There's always going to be moderating factors, and there's going to be people that can then step up and challenge whatever thought you have, or whatever idea you have, or whatever fact you have. They can present their facts, you can present yours, and the battle begins. And now we can sort of see, oh, which facts were derived how do we put those into practice, what's the better idea? That's all going to come into play. Okay? People should be allowed to say whatever they want.
Literally Sharia law, but I have idiots writing to me and saying, bruh, why are you spreading fake news? So instead of these people who live in still free societies saying, my goodness, the bigger picture suggests that we should never tolerate this. You should be allowed to make fun of Mormonism and Scientology and Judaism. And
you're damn skippy, you should. Okay? And if people have a problem with it, if somebody insults my religion or something, a tenet or a belief that I hold dear, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, hey, dude, fine. Think whatever you want. And I'm going to go about my day. Because that's their opinion and they have every right to it. And I freaking can say, well, that's great, dude. You're an idiot. It ain't no thing.
And Christianity and Islam and anything else, and communism and any scientific theory and any scientist and any public figure.
That's right. I should be able to criticize the law of gravity. And I should be able to say, you know what? It doesn't exist. There is no such thing as gravity. I can't feel it. I can't smell it. I can't touch it. Therefore, it doesn't exist. Boom. There you go. Done. And then somebody can stand up and say, you're a moron. You know how I know? Because when you jump, you come back down to the ground. Okay? And they can do all their evidence, and I can do mine, and then everybody will see I'm a moron because I don't believe in gravity when it is clearly there. Maybe I can't touch it. Maybe I can't hold it in my hands. Maybe you can't taste it, but it clearly exists.
You should be allowed to do.
Everything should be allowed to be criticized.
Do whatever you want in a free society. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is the proverbial screaming fire in a theater. You can't defame and engage in libelous lies against someone. And, you know, those.
I do agree with that. I think you should not be allowed to libel somebody. Although I do believe you should be allowed to call for violent action. So I think that calls to violence should be allowed, because you know what? If somebody's up there on the stage and they say, this is unacceptable, we must riot in the streets, or you must go to this person and punch him in the face, okay? Then it is upon me to sit there and go, you know what? That's a terrible idea, because we live in a civilized society. I'm not going to listen to this person, and I'm not going to go punch anybody in the face, or I'm not going to go and shoot somebody, or I'm not going to do anything wacky and crazy like that. And the fact that this person here is calling for me to do that now loses credibility in my eyes. So I don't have an issue with that kind of stuff. I understand why governments might want to make a rule about it, because there are crazy people out there who will respond to these calls to action. But I believe we cannot rule and govern based on what crazy people will do, because crazy people be crazy, and they're going to do crazy things, and you can't predict what those crazy things are going to be. I think most people are pretty reasonable, so I say play the odds. Play the odds. You're going to be pretty safe, and most people out there are probably not going to get up in a pulpit and say, we need to go and start kicking somebody's ass right now. Right? They're going to be far more moderate, because they know that kind of rhetoric is going to turn more people off than it will gain them advocates.
Those few exceptions. Otherwise, freedom of speech is absolute. And those who are writing to me and trying to parse, hair split things that not only are they wrong on, but that causes them to so desperately lose the grand plot, they simply baffle me. They genuinely disgust me. Because I come from societies.
Right there, Gad, you are right. They disgust me. Okay? These people, it's like, hey, this is a world of 7 billion people. Everybody has their own ideas, and they have the right to those ideas. I may disagree with yours, you may disagree with mine, but everybody has a right to their idea. And people that try to control other people's lives disgust me. They piss me off. They make me sick. Okay? I think it is an appalling trait.
Where we didn't have those freedoms. And I'm so proud and thankful that I live in a society where I could open the camera still and speak to you. Hopefully without any consequences coming my way. But don't forget, in Canada, we now have the motion M103. You know, don't be Islamophobic, bruh.
Yeah, M103 has to go. Okay, especially since there's no definition for Islamophobic. And I think people can make a strong argument that with phobias being an irrational fear, that it is not irrational to fear Islam, because it produces a vastly disproportionate number of violent adherents. So there you go. That's my little aside. I might make videos on that later on. But suffice to say, this has probably gone on long enough. Suffice it to say, The fact that the European Court of Human Rights has come down and said that this woman is, I can't remember, I think she's getting fined or something for insulting Islam by saying that Muhammad had pedophilic tendencies. It's appalling, and it's scary. Frankly, it's scary because it's an abridgment of free speech based on a religion, and nothing is beyond questioning. I'm astounded more people aren't fired up about this kind of thing, and that this isn't being played harder in the mainstream media. It's unbelievable. It really is shocking. It's an abridgment of human rights. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it is something that I see as very serious.